In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace a radiator on a Nissan NV2500. It is located behind the front bumper. Before you remove your AC condenser, you need to bring your vehicle to a shop to have the Freon evacuated. After you lifted and supported your vehicle safely, you have 8 21mm lug nuts. You need to remove those. And also your center cap. Once those are removed, remove your wheel. Do the same for the other side. After removing the right front wheel, your petcock is here on the radiator on your right. You need to turn that to the left. Fluid will come out the bottom, so make sure you have a bucket underneath to catch the fluid. You will not reuse this fluid. Once you've drained your fluid out, tighten your petcock. To unlatch your grill from your radiator support, use a flat blade screwdriver, put it in the slot, and twist. Now do that for the remaining 5 clips. On the side of your grill where it meets the headlight, one here and one right below that, you need to unclip those. To do that, take a flat blade screwdriver, install it into here, push down a little, and pull out. Do the same for the one down the bottom, and then do the same for the other side. If you pull the grill back on the top a little bit, you can see down the bottom you're going to have 6 of these clips. If you take a pair of pliers, squeeze together and pull out on the bottom of the grill, you will release those clips. There are 6 of them. Do the same for all 6. Once you unclip the bottom of your grill, pull straight out, and there's your grill. After we removed our grill, we need to remove our top radiator support. Our top radiator support is held in by a series of bolts. One of them holds the radiator to the support. You need to remove that. We are on the passenger side of the vehicle. This bolt is a 14mm. Just to the side of that is a 12mm. And you have one in the front is a 12mm, just to the side of your headlight. And you can do the same to the other side. You're going to have this plastic windscreen. You need to remove that from your upper radiator support. It's just held in by one clip. Use a pair of pliers, pry out on the clip, and put that off to the side. Now we need to remove our 2 T30 bolts for our transmission cooler. And release it from the top radiator support. Just to the right of that is our support for our hood latch. You also have 2 T30 bolts. You need to remove those. And then in the center, a 12mm bolt. You need to remove that. Now you need to remove your 8mm bolt that holds your horn. You need to remove your clip for your air deflector. Pull that down and just put it off to the side. Now you have another horn behind that. That also is an 8mm bolt. Remove that. Let your horn hang. Now you can unplug your AC high pressure switch that's on your receiver dryer by just pushing this button in and lifting straight up. Right above your switch is your transmission cooler line. It's clipped in with 2 clips on the top. You just peel back on the clip, pull straight down on the line. Do the same for this one, and let your line hang. Now you want to remove your coolant reservoir from its bracket. It's held on by two 8mm bolts. Once you remove those bolts, you want to push your reservoir towards the engine and put it off to the side. You need to remove your overflow reservoir hose that goes to your radiator. Slide the clamp down, remove the hose. Remove your upper radiator hose clamp. And your upper radiator hose. Remove your radiator cap. You need to unclip your AC line from your radiator. Just beside that, you have your two 10mm bolts, one on the top, one on the bottom, that bolt your condenser to your radiator. Now we're on to the driver's side. You have a 10mm bolt that holds your condenser to your radiator. Now you want to lift your AC condenser straight up and unhook it from your radiator. Right above your petcock, you're going to have an 8mm bolt that holds your fan shroud to your radiator. You need to remove that. And you need to remove this transmission line from your shroud by just unclipping it. And putting it off to the side. Once you've lifted and supported your vehicle safely, you have a cover in the front that's held on by 7 12mm bolts. You need to remove those. There's 3 in the back. One on our side is missing. If you go in the front, right below your front bumper, there's one right there. Then you slide down on the other side of the front bumper, there's another one. Then our last one would be here, ours is missing. Once you've removed all of those, pull down on your panel and put it off to the side. On the right bottom part of your fan shroud, you're going to have a transmission hose that's clipped to the shroud. You need to remove that. At the very bottom part of our fan shroud, you're going to have an 8mm bolt. You need to remove that. Just to the left of that is a transmission cooler hose. You need to unclip that from the fan shroud. Just to the left of that, you have a transmission line, transmission hose that connects to your radiator. You need to remove that. Your fan shroud has an inner lower fan shroud that you need to remove. On both sides, you're going to have a clip here and on top. You want to unclip by pushing in on that clip, pulling straight towards you, and then pushing down on the tab on top and pulling straight down. You want to repeat this process on the other side. Then you have one last tab in the middle. You want to unclip that. Pull this shroud down and out. After you remove your left front wheel, if you peel back your fender liner a little, you're going to see an 8mm bolt for your fan shroud on the left side. You need to remove that. Right below that is your lower radiator hose. You need to remove that. Keep in mind, coolant might leak out of this once you remove your hose, so you'll want a bucket underneath to catch your old fluid. Your top of your radiator has a plastic cover. You need to remove that plastic cover. It is held on by 4 clips. You want to lift straight up and remove them. Once you remove your clips, lift straight up and put the bezel off to the side. On the driver's side top of the radiator, you can have an 8mm bolt that holds the fan shroud to the radiator. Remove that. Then to the left of that in the middle, there's another 8mm. Remove that. Moving to our left, we have an electrical connector and 2 clips for your electrical fan. We need to remove all 3 of those. The connector, just push down on this tab, pull straight up and disconnect. Now your wiring harness, disconnect it from the fan by using a pair of pliers, pulling straight out, disconnecting that and putting it off to the side. Just below the radiator coolant fill is an 8mm bolt. You need to remove that. Now we can remove our radiator fan shroud by lifting straight up and out. Before you remove your radiator, you're going to have AC lines and transmission lines in the way. I'm just going to tie them out of the way just to give you more room. Once you've secured all your lines out of the way, you want to lift straight up on your radiator. Guide it around the lines. And out. Now that we have our radiator out on our bench, you need to transfer 4 rubber mounts, 2 on the bottom, 2 on the top, to our new radiator. The ones on the bottom you just want to pull straight out. Ones on the top, pull straight out. Do the same for the other side. Now that you have your 4 rubber mounts off, you need to install them on your new radiator. Top ones just slide straight on. And the bottom ones, same thing, straight on. Do the same for the other side. Your new radiator is going to come with new clips. To install your clips, slide straight on and line up your holes. Before you install your radiator, your 2 rubber mounts on the bottom set into 2 holes on your frame. You want to slide your radiator down, install your 2 rubber mounts into their holes. Now we can reinstall our fan shroud, sliding it straight down. Installing our top fan shroud bolts. Do the same for the other side. Now the one on the top in the middle. Now we can tighten those bolts down and torque them at 71 inch-pounds. Now we can reinstall our wiring harness for our electric fan. and our connector. Now you can install your top bezel on the top part of your radiator and install your 4 clips. Do the same for the other side. Now we're going to reinstall our AC condenser onto our radiator. First, start on the driver's side with our little metal bracket and our clip. Push straight down. Now we can install our condenser bolts. You want to torque those 3 10mm bolts down to 40 inch-pounds. Reinstall our AC line into the side of our radiator. Now we can install our top radiator support. Making sure all our holes are lined up so we can install our bolts. Now we can install our radiator to our top radiator mount bolts. Now the one in the front, right next to your headlight. You want to install all 3 of these bolts. Now you can tighten all 3. Your radiator to support bolt gets torqued down to 51 inch-pounds. And your radiator support bolts get torqued down to 18 foot-pounds. Do the same for the other side. Now we can install our transmission cooler bolts. Tighten both of those. Both of those bolts get torqued down to 60 inch-pounds. Now we can reinstall our plastic bezel. Install our clip. Install our bolts for our middle radiator support bracket. And tighten those down. All 3 of those get torqued down to 18 foot-pounds. Reinstall your transmission line to your radiator support and its clips. Now our AC high pressure sensor. Then our horns. Tighten those 2 bolts. Torque those 2 bolts down to 15 foot-pounds. Now we can reinstall our bezel. And our clip. Now we can install our coolant reservoir. Line up your tabs with the tabs in the bracket. Slide straight towards you and lock it in. And install your bolts. Tighten both down. And torque them down to 71 inch-pounds. Now we can install our reservoir hose onto our radiator. And reinstall our clamp. Top radiator hose is next. On the passenger side of the vehicle, you're going to have your transmission cooler line you want to reinstall back into your fan shroud. Now you can reinstall your 8mm bolt for your fan shroud and tighten it. That bolt gets torqued down to 71 inch-pounds. Just below that is your petcock. You want to make sure that that petcock is tight at this point. On the bottom side of your fan shroud on the passenger side, you're going to have a hose. You need to reinstall your transmission cooler hose into the holder. Right in the center on the bottom is your 8mm bolt for your fan shroud. You need to install that. Tighten that down. And torque it down to 71 inch-pounds. Now we can install our lower inner fan shroud. Install it into the clip on the side first. And in the clip right below it. Do the same for the other side. Then the last one in the center. Now on the driver's side of the vehicle, you have your lower radiator hose. You can reinstall that onto the radiator with your clamp. Right above that is a fan shroud bolt. That bolt gets tightened down to 71 inch-pounds. On the driver's side, you have your transmission hose that gets connected to your fan shroud, and then down here in the center, same thing. Now we can reinstall our cover and start our bolts. This is one of the bolts that we're missing, so we're going to install a new one. And on the other side, this is one of the other bolts that we're missing. We are going to install a bolt. Once you've installed all of your bolts for your cover, tighten them all down. Once you have all your lug nuts on, you want to go in a pattern that goes crisscrossed. Now you want to torque all your lug nuts at 131 foot-pounds. Do the same for the other side. Before you install your grill, you're going to have clips all the way down the bottom. There's 2 on the side, on each side. You want to line up those holes with the clips that are on your bumper. Once you have all your clips aligned with your holes, push in and lock them in. Your top part of your bumper has the 6 clips. You want to line those up with the holes and push straight in until they clip in. This system is a pressurized system. Your reservoir is pressurized, so is in your radiator. You want to take your cap off your reservoir, fill that first. Once you fill your reservoir, install your cap. Now you can fill your radiator. Now you want to fill your radiator to the manufacturer's specifications. Once your radiator is full, reinstall your cap. You want to run your vehicle for about a half an hour or so. Wait for your fans to come on. If your fans come on and you have no leaks, you're done. Bring your vehicle back to the shop and get your AC charged.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.